Okay, so we left off in the last video finishing up the table. That answers questions 1, 2, and 3. Question 4 says, what is the proportional relationship represented by this table? So this question is basically asking you, the relationship in this table is between what and what? Well, we can look at the titles, we can look at the initial information at the top, and I would like you to write a sentence that starts with the proportional relationship in this table is. And I want you to pause this video and finish the sentence. The proportional relationship in this table is. Okay, so you should have given this a try. Let's talk about it. There's a few details we discussed in class. First is the basics. The proportional relationship in this table is between honey and flour. But more specifically, you might have noticed that the number 1.25 was extremely important. 1.25 is the amount of flour per cup of honey. And we could write that like this. There are 1.25 cups of flour per cup of honey. We know that because we're always multiplying how many tablespoons of honey we have times 1.25 to tell us how many cups of flour we have. I made a mistake because I wrote cups of honey and I should have written tablespoons. Remember, you can always pause or rewind this video if you need this explanation again, but those two sentences describe the proportional relationship we see in the table. The next thing we did in class was 2.4 quarters and dimes. 4 quarters are equal in value to 10 dimes, which is the information that you need to figure out the rest of the table. Again, we want to be looking for a pattern as we move from left to right. So 4 times something equals 10. And remember that you can always use inverse operations to help you find this mystery number. Go ahead and pause this video and answer 2.4. You don't need to do this part at the bottom. When you're done with 2.4, come back and hit play. Okay, you should have answered 2.4 on your own. Let's summarize. When the ratios between two corresponding quantities are always equivalent, the relationship between those quantities is called a proportional relationship. So for example, here we have a table of chocolate syrup and milk, and it describes a consistent relationship between how much syrup is used and how many cups of milk are used. We could say that the relationship between chocolate syrup and the amount of milk is proportional. The relationship is a proportional relationship, and that the table here represents a proportional relationship. This summarizes what we learned on Thursday and Friday this week. The last thing you need to do is complete your exit ticket. Your exit ticket is on page 4 of today's classwork. I'm going to read it aloud for you. When you mix two colors of paint in equivalent ratios, the resulting color is always the same. Complete the table as you answer the questions. 1. How many cups of yellow paint should you mix with 1 cup of blue paint to make the same shade of green? Explain or show your reasoning. 2. Make up a new pair of numbers that would make the same shade of green. Explain how you know that they would make the same shade of green. It's your job to answer these 2 questions. Remember, you can type or write. When you're finished, make sure you go back to Schoology and look at step 2 on today's directions. As always, if you have questions, remember to send me an email.